Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. And as always, thank you for all your support, including sharing, chatting, liking, and subscribing. Now roll that famous logo animation! Good evening and welcome back to Computerized Start Live! I'm your host, Justin D. Morgan, and I believe it's colder in the basement tonight than it was a week ago. Because it's like 52.5 degrees Fahrenheit right now. I've got stuff on the little table I'd have the heater set on, or I'd be running the heater. In fact, actually, my heat pump is running in heat mode right now. So, let's see here who we have in the chat. I left a mess for myself, so I apologize for the delay after the delay, but we have Gut Bomb Tech. Hi, Jason. I have something from you right here. You might recognize the package. Not to be confused with these items from an eBay seller that must know that I get somewhat irritated when things show up in black envelopes, but beside the point. We have Hardware Hacker. Hi, Hardware Hacker. We have SadMac356. Hi, SadMac. We have Stian. Hi, Stian. Says greetings. No, that's not how you say fourth in Elbonian. We have, let's see here. We have Jesse. Hi, Jesse. I8386SX. We have, let's see here. And let's see here. We have CMD Big Mike. Hi, Big Mike. All right. See, Jesse has. Yeah, yeah, that was a pretty big late snowstorm, Jesse, and then the sign that your post office put on their door, that's just not cool. Post office wants to be more relevant than. Yeah, they need to take the welcome winter sign down after March, or after the last day of February. Alright, we've got the coffee goal. Link is in the description. It might help me buy a new router, because, yeah, Tuesday I was having internet trouble. I'm not exactly sure what the problem was. I did make sure to reboot unplug my router and cable modem, wait a good minute or two, and then plug them back in this evening after I got home from work. That was because, well, I also had to join a Teams meeting, and something was up with the internet then, but it seems to be working good now. So, let's first go to this item that Gutbomb sent me, and I have been curious what he sent me ever since he warned me that he was sending me something, and that it's something I sent him, and he didn't think he was supposed to keep it, so he is returning it now, which has had me stumped for. Gutbomb says, I did not know that you get irritated when things arrive in black envelopes. Gutbomb, notice I said it's like eBay sellers know that I get irritated when they send me stuff in black envelopes. I carefully chose my words for various reasons. So anyways, this is not an eBay purchase. That's why I have not rolled our... Thank you, Gutbomb. Hi, Joe. We got Joe of Joe's Computer Museum. All right, what could it be? What could it be? Ooh. Well, place your bets. It's not a Trident card. I think I can tell that from the shape. And, oh, yeah. A drive rail. Just something. Oh, I bet I loaned this to Gutbomb to model it or something. So yeah, thank you, Gutbomb, for returning the drive rail to some computer. Oh, it's from Adele. Okay, that's right. Yes. All right. Coming back to me now. Yes. I loaned this to Gutbomb. And yeah, thank you, Gutbomb, for returning it. Now, if I could just find the drive rail that I've misplaced from one of the cases that I have. That, yeah. Oh, Gutbomb says you sent it to me to model, but then it turned out not to be the correct rail. So, yes, thank you for returning it. Now that I know it's for Dell, that'll probably remind me which one it's for. So, all right. And now that I've gotten through that, it is now time for the following important announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our favorite segment, Wheel of Regrets. Here's your host, Justin D. Morgan.
Hey, who comes up with these titles anyway?
And as I've already implied, I do have a few packages here. Who comes up with these titles anyway, indeed? So I think we will start with, we're going to start and open these in sequential order. So the first item, which has been sitting upstairs for about a week, comes to us from an eBay seller in Nebraska. So hi to all my eBay sellers and viewers in Nebraska. It did come priority mail. So for once, an eBay seller used the free packaging material correctly. Kapub says, boo, Huskers. All right. I'll let y'all guess. I will give you a clue. I paid $3 plus shipping and tax for it. Because I was a big spender. And apparently, it wasn't a large enough purchase to even get the whole word eBay off the roll of tape. Sadbeck says, oh good, not ESD safe bubble wrap. Yeah, I know. Jesse says, irrelevant Big Ten team. Big Ten, who's that? I don't know. Says the guy who is pretty sure that the major university in the state that he went to college to is a part of the Big Ten. F-bomb guesses it's an S3 Verge. Yeah, I know Big Ten's a college conference. Sadmax says, some kind of video card, I think. Yes. Oh, yeah. Oops. Not much bubble wrap. Hi, Mike's Future Retro. Welcome. And this is... We'll have to look up what chip that actually is, but it's a Diamond Speedstar A200 AGP 8 megabytes. Bump says, oh, not an S3 Verge. Oh, Jesse says, that's okay. My Wisconsin Badgers are also now irrelevant. So, yes. Buy it now price was $3 on this video card. And I don't remember what chipset's on it, but... Gutbump says it's an S3 Savage 4 Pro. Yes. What a savage. So actually, this might be a somewhat decent video card, although I think at this point S3 was probably also near irrelevant. So, yeah. All right. That looks good. $3. Now you know why I get all sorts of not working stuff on eBay. I'm looking for the bottom dollar price. We have CDI. Hi, CDI. It's not all the ATI Rage. Nope. That was not an ATI Rage. I already have enough ATI Rage cards, I believe. Cue someone saying, you can never have enough ATI Rage cards, despite the fact they were like the default video card in so many OEM systems. Yes. All right, so this next item comes to us from another atypical state. So hi to all my eBay sellers and viewers in Arkansas. Sadback says, and definitely has enough Trident cards. Yeah. Speaking of Trident cards, while people have a chance to guess what this is, so there's how big the box is. Speaking of Trident cards, I launched a line of Trident products on my web store, so you can just go to my web store and if you want a Trident mouse pad or a Trident drinking cup of some sort, yes, you can get them with the Trident logo. It's not what anybody asked for, but I'm fairly sure there's probably at least one person in the world that needs one. That might be me. So yeah. Jesse says, speaking of eBay, Stan Shi? I'm presuming that's how you pronounce that name. Yeah, Stan Shi Computers LLC. I apologize, Stan, if I am mispronouncing your name. Putting a lot of desirables in my face. I see one of them already sold. Stan says, I hate it when YouTube leaves you on the waiting screen even when streaming starts. Oh, that is so annoying. How many regrets did I miss? None now. It's a Diamond Speedstar A... I've got a short queue this evening. Speedstar A200. It's a S3 Savage 4 Pro chipset, apparently. It was $3. I'm sure it's going to be a regret. All right, let's see here. I was catching up with the chat after announcing the Trident Wear. Let folks have a chance to guess. TDS says, need to find my Holy Grail number 9 128-bit card. It was dual cards. Neat. Gutbomb says, the Savage 4 Pro was better than the S3 Verge, but worse than everything else. Yeah, that sounds about right. TDS says, remember seeing it at Fry's over 1K. Yes. Ian says, diamonds are indeed forever. Yes. All right, we will go ahead and open this. I'm kind of disappointed Gutbomb didn't even lob a top 3 guess on this. I mean, I know it's not big enough to be a VIC-20. Oh, it probably will be a regret, because I accidentally put my, my slice thing through the... Gutbomb says, Mad Dog! Yeah, he probably saw Dominator. All right, and you know what the Mad Dog, the maddest part about this is? It was auction format, and normally I snipe auctions that I want, but this was ending at such a weird time of the day that I was afraid I would forget about it, and I think I placed like a $5 bid on it or something. The starting price was 99 cents. I think I bid like $3 or $5 on it. Something like that. And basically I want it at the 99 cents price. And so there we go. We have a Mad Dog Dominator floppy drive. I am going to be horribly disappointed if it's not silk screened, because the box has been opened. But I think the seller took photos of what was inside of it. Jesse says, when you interrupt meetings with your boss to bid on an eBay, you truly made it to regret status. Yeah, I don't think I would have been interrupting a meeting, but I was still afraid I was going to miss it. So we do have the instructions here, and we have screws. So far, so good. It is a TIAC floppy drive. Yep, that is definitely TIAC. All right. Silk screen or no silk screen? I think Gupum said, all it took was one glimpse of the box graphics. Yep. Jesse says, never done that before. Never, none. Yeah. And we, you know, I don't think Mad Dog was silk screening their floppy drives. Because that's the second one of these I've bought. Unless, of course, someone swapped floppy mechanisms. Which is also possible. But this floppy drive looks awfully clean inside. I don't think it's been used. Alright, let's see if we can find any evidence that this is what it claims to be. I don't see anything that's an obvious date code. Yeah, Gutbum says, I think they just didn't silk screen them. Yeah, considering I bought two of them and they're not silk screened. But clearly... No, I was about to say, but clearly... And then I've got another theory. I'm kind of thinking that maybe they didn't use the same vendor. They just bought whichever floppy drives were cheapest and... Yeah, there's no serial number or anything on the box. What kind of Mad Dog hoards Mad Dogs? Well, a Mad Dog that is trying to have enough parts to put a Mad Dog system together might hoard Mad Dog parts. A person that wants to hedge bets that he'll have at least one working Mad Dog floppy drive might spend a whopping 99 cents plus shipping on another one. So in reality, yeah. Oh, hi, David Starbuck. Welcome. So, we have another Mad Dog floppy drive. It's not silk screened. I'm sure someone will make fun of that in the comments of the inevitable video that will result. But there we go. Mad Dog floppy drives. Let's get to the last two items. And if you're kind of thinking that these look very similar, you would be correct. David says you need to liquid cool it with Mad Dog 2020. Ugh. I don't even want to know what that tastes like. So both of these items, yep, come to us from an eBay seller in Maryland. So hi to all my eBay sellers and viewers in Maryland. Gupum says, a Mad Dog PC needs to be able to play Duke Nukem forever. That just seems appropriate. Yeah. Jesse says, oh, you're playing someone else. Okay. Jason says, I've only had Mad Dog 2020 once. What a horrible night. All right. That reaffirms my decision to never try it. All right. David says, I have had Mad Dog 2020 many a time in college. I do feel shame. Yeah. All right. There is a reason why both of these look very similar. They are from the same seller. It isn't a coincidence that that I bought two identical items or near identical items from the same state and different sellers. They both came from the same seller. Jesse says, I've never tried it either. Looks to be a wise decision. Ooh, yeah. So we will go ahead and open these both. All right. I don't know if anyone wants to have the opportunity to guess what these are. I will turn them in a direction that will probably give away what they are, because I think you can see through the bubble wrap enough. But there we go. Oh. Stan says joystick, gamepad, tridents. Well, you are very close, Stan. Cup Pump says VIC-20 game cartridges. It is very close to gamepads. We have one. One. Stan says, just like I said. Yeah. David Starbucks asking PS1. Yes. These are for the PS1. Although, I think they'll work with the PS2. But yeah, because you all probably know I have a couple of PlayStation 1s to sell, because I have more than I need. But I didn't have enough game controllers to make sure I could put a game controller in with each one. So I saw that Potomac Picker on eBay. Yep, because I subscribed to his channel, but I didn't see him buy these in any of the videos he's posted so far. Had these, and I was watching him. He made an offer, and I decided to buy both of them. So this one here is the analog controller. But I believe this is the PlayStation 1 version because it's gray. I want to say the PlayStation 2 one was like the analog controller 2. I could not tell you what the difference is, but I think they added vibration for the PlayStation 2. I don't know that the PlayStation 1 supported vibration. Oh yeah, Gutbump says, does the back of that one with the analog stick say analog controller or DualShock? That's right. DualShock was the PlayStation 2 one. It's just analog controller. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the PlayStation 1 version. And then this is just the controller. So, I don't know if these work. I don't have any reason to believe that they aren't repairable, at least. Because the cables appear to be in good shape. The connectors are in good shape. I mean, they are a little dirty, but nothing I can't clean up. Unfortunately, I've got all my working PlayStations upstairs. So I can't test them. Oh, Gutbomb says they did have a version of the DualShock for the PlayStation 1, but they got into patent troubles, so they took it off the market and replaced it with the analog controller, which didn't have vibration. Ah. Oh, so if this one was DualShock, it would be a rare controller. I think the eBay seller I bought this from, I think I've seen him at VCF events. So he probably knows about that. Or at least I think I might have seemingly remember seeing him at least at the System Source swap meet. I am almost sure after finding his eBay channel and watching a couple videos, I might have met him actually. Ian says it would be shocking if it were DualShock. And Gutbump says, and then the PS2 version was the DualShock 2, but it was basically the same as the original DualShock, a different color. Ian says, oh no, I almost saw a bear. Oh no, indeed. All right. So there we go. That is pretty much Wheel of Regrets for tonight. tune in next time when maybe perhaps we'll take a look at a $5 video card I bought today, plus shipping and tax. Steven says, oh, in reference to all the disclaimers about who you think you may have possibly seen at VCF, maybe. All right. Jesse's asking, Black, Grizzly, Polar, or Chicago? All right. Yeah, I think let's get into some Macintosh shenanigans. So I have not brought the G4 downstairs yet because I had my hands full. So, but I did bring this down because I was able to finagle it with Wheel of Regrets. So I thought I would see if Jason remembers this. This is a video capture card made by Miro. And I have no idea if the card works or even if it's the correct version to work with a Mac. But we're going to see. Yeah, Jason says I do. Yes, I bought this from Bomb. Because he was selling some things, and I immediately recognized what this was. It is a Miro Video DC30 Plus. And the reason why I have this will become apparent in a moment. Gupom says it did come out of a Mac, so this may actually fix my problem. Or the drivers I have are just not going to ever work with this card, even though they're supposed to be. Jesse says working pull from 2007. Well, so I have my G4, and I got this crazy idea back in like 2019 or 2020, probably 2019, so I didn't start live streaming until I think it was 2021. Yeah, I think it was July 2021. So I moved into this house in 2020, in July of 2020. And I think it took me a year or so. It was August of 2021, I think, before I started streaming. It took me a year to finally actually do it and do a live stream. But I had been thinking of starting a YouTube channel as early as like 2018, 2019, possibly even a little bit before then. And I knew I wanted to do vintage computers, and I was looking for a way to capture video from vintage computers. And I was trying a whole bunch of stuff. And I was having trouble getting decent looking capture footage. In fact, a lot of it was so bad, I don't think I kept it. Although I think I've come to realize that it was not necessarily... It was actually things about the NTSC video signal that I probably didn't understand as well as I do now that was the problem. Jesse says, I started my battery side of eBay July 2021. Huh. Small world. Hi, Dave. Welcome. So anyways, in this period where I'm trying to figure out how to capture video from vintage computers so I can start a YouTube channel, because I had a music computer at this point. In fact, I might have had... Yeah, I had a music computer at this point. I was trying to figure out how to capture video from it. I had bought USB capture devices. I think I had several of those of various types, whatnot. I couldn't get a video capture that looked great because they had what I was calling jail bars in it. But I think now what I know is that was actually the digital capture card seeing the lines in the output of the video that are how the artifact color works in NTSC video. But anyways, one of the things I thought to try, because in 2019, I had bought a PowerMac G4, the one that I'm going to go upstairs and grab in a minute. Hardware Hacker says, YouTube just notified me that you are live. Great, YouTube notifications are not working as well now. I started looking at older capture cards, thinking, well, maybe they might be better tuned to older video signals. Maybe that's the problem. And somehow I found their third-party drivers for these Miro capture cards that will run in OS X. CN says YouTube is not working as well now, period. Yeah, I know. Oh, Hardware Hacker says, oh wait, old notification. Oh. Stian says, sorry that happened, but simultaneously glad it wasn't just me. Yeah, I know. YouTube is... Yeah. YouTube is being even more YouTube as of late. Jesse says, YouTube is much like my life in the last 5 months. There's some greatness, but it's mostly a dumpster fire. Yeah, YouTube is... I think they need to go back to the drawing board for some of the things they've tried to change and realize we didn't ask for it. Anyways, so I had bought one of these cards back in, I think, 2019. I bought a license for the drivers because I don't think they had a shareware version, so I wasn't able to try them before buying them. So it's possible these drivers are just a great big scam. Anyways, I bought a license for the drivers. I bought one of these video cards. I put them in the PowerMac G4 that I have upstairs that I'm going to go bring downstairs very shortly. Install the drivers. Open up the capture program. Feed it in NTSC video signal. And all I saw was jumbled video. So... without having another card or desire to buy another card at the time, I kind of gave up on the idea and moved on. And luckily, at some point, Mac84 Steve did a video on capture from vintage computers, and that's how I've learned about the Atlona scaler I'm using now. So... yeah, it works pretty well. It's not perfect, but it works decently well for a lot of things. So that's how I get my at least composite video capture done these days. But go back to, I think it was last year, maybe 2 years ago. Gutbomb had listed a few things for sale. I saw this card. Gutbomb said it had been pulled out of a Mac. I said, I want to buy it from you because I don't know, maybe it's just been eating at me the whole time that, why do these drivers not work? So anyways, we got this card here. We're going to try to put it in the G4. We're going to try to power up the G4. I can't guarantee the G4 is going to power up because G4s are not known for their power supplies after 20-some years. And we're going to see if this card works, but then don't worry, I do also have the capture card I bought. And I think I showed off last week. Oh yeah, and it's right beside me. So we'll give it a try too. I think I just realized I forgot to download the driver disk for it. But anyways, I have the drivers for this already on that G4. I am going to deoxit this connector because it was looking a bit oxidized. It hasn't been plugged in for at least a year because I think this has been sitting on top of my G4 for at least the past year because I haven't had the chance to look at it. I had a bunch of stuff I wanted to do last year. Hardware Hacker says Mac84 Steve was the scalar reference for me too. Yes. Mike's Future Retro says Goodwill.com is a good source for PS1, PS2, and variants of Xbox controllers. Yeah, I should try shop Goodwill more often because it is possible to buy things from there, especially if they're things that are like not what people are looking for. I've been frustrated before shopping Shop Goodwill. Harder Hacker says, but I can't forget to also credit Justin and Gut Bomb for their help in that as well. Yes, you are quite welcome for that. Gut Bomb says, I was very lucky and got a RetroTink 4K, and that's the gold standard for scalers, but I do understand cost is a factor there. I got it as a gift. That is very nice. Because, yeah, RetroTink 4K is more than I want to spend, especially because I probably need a new router. Probably need a new cable modem too, but that's beside the point. I don't know that my cable modem and or router were why I was having internet trouble Tuesday, but I power cycled them today just to make sure that wasn't a cause. So, anyways, yeah. Speaking of VCF, East is like in a month. Play the shrieking violin noises. So yes. All right, so we got this video card. Let me go grab this G4. You all are probably thinking it's vaporware, and I'm just going to sit here and yap for another hour and 45 minutes and conveniently not bring it downstairs. So let me put you all on hold so I can bring it downstairs, and I will show you that, yes, this PowerMac G4 does exist. Jesse says I still have to order that. Oh, never mind. All right, I'll put you all on hold, and I'll be back with you in 2 or 3 minutes. So enjoy the chill music. And I'm back, and there we go. My PowerMac G4 FireWire-800 1.25 gigahertz dual processor. And I have this, as best as I've been able to, I've got this configured how I had my G4 back in the day, because in 2003, I bought a G4 FireWire-800 brand new, and I had that for like 2 years, and I tried to buy a G5, and that was a disaster. So part of this is kind of me exploring what would it have been like if I had gotten into video editing 20-some years ago, and I was able to tell myself to just keep the G4 and don't go G5. Oh, Hardware Hacker has an announcement when I'm ready. All right. Well, Stian says, I can still use a G4 FireWire 400 case if anyone has a broken one. I have working guts. Gupum asks, what made the G5 a disaster? Too loud? No. The G5 I bought. Oh, congratulations, Hardware Hacker. Hardware Hacker has been a channel member for 6 months. Congratulations. No, my G5 had to go back to Apple 4 times for repair for the same issue. It really was a disaster. Well, actually, it wasn't the same. Oh, correction. No, it wasn't the same issue. Or was it? Technically, I think it was. Because I had to take it in the first time because the antenna connector broke. I was installing the airport card, and the antenna connector broke. So I took it in to the Apple store, and they replaced I think they had to replace the entire case, because, of course, Apple didn't just send Genius bars, an antenna cable. I think they had to replace the whole case. So they basically had to take all the guts out of mine and put it back together and run diagnostics. Okay, at that point, no, I think that's all they had to do. They did a case swap, basically. But it was covered by AppleCare. Get the computer back home, and within a couple weeks, it starts kernel panicking all the time. Then I run Apple hardware diagnostics, and it, of course, says, yeah, there's a problem with your computer. So I take it back to the Genius bar. Mind you, the Genius bar was a little over an hour away each way, and I have to leave the computer there for repair. So that means 2 trips for the first repair. So now I'm taking it back to the Genius bar for repair number 2. I have to leave it there. They have the computer for a week or 2. Finally get a call that they're done with it. They had to replace the motherboard or the logic board, excuse me. It's a Mac, so it's a logic board, and one or both of the processors. So I'm like, okay, cool. Yay, I'll have a G5. It should work now. So I get it back home, and I think within a week this time, because it was less time than the first time around, I was kernel panicking all the time. Apple Hardware Diagnostics told me that you have a problem with your G5. So trip number 3 to the Genius bar. No, there was not an option for another Genius bar because this was 2005 or 2006, and I was not about to drive up to Northern Virginia, because that would have been like 2.5 hours. Didn't know anyone up there. In fact, well, actually, I think I did have a friend up there, but I didn't realize it at the time because I didn't have Facebook. But anyways, yeah, drive up there, or drive over to the Genius bar, drop it off. They have it for like 2 or 3 weeks. I think the repair took longer that time. Get a call back, or like, yeah, we had to replace the logic board, and I think at that point, I think it was both processors. I think the first one might have been one processor. I think, yeah, that time was like logic board and both processors. You should be good to go. So, of course, go get my G5. And I think this time, you might be noticing a trend here. First time it kernel panicked, I had the computer back like 3 weeks. Second time, I had it back a week. This time, I think I had it home 2 days. And it started kernel panicking. So Apple Hardware Diagnostics tells me there's a problem with your Mac. So I think at this point, I called AppleCare. I'm like, this is kind of getting ridiculous. The Genius Bar has had my computer 3 times now in the past, like, 3 months or 4 months, and like they have it 2 or 3 weeks each time. And I think AppleCare told me that, all right, well, you do need to take it back to you need to take it to the Genius Bar, because the Genius Bar is going to have to take a look at it and confirm. And then once they do that, we'll call you back. So I take it to the Genius Bar, drop it off. I think they have it a couple days, and then I get a call back from AppleCare. And AppleCare told me yeah, we are replacing your computer under warranty because we can't repair it. So So that was the end of that G5. I think that one was a dual processor, or I think that was the 2 gigahertz dual processor. So anyways, by this point, the last of the G5s had been released. So they were going to replace like model for the current like model. So I got upgraded to the 2.3 gigahertz dual. But anyways, they basically were like, we're just going to ship me the computer. I did think to ask, though. I was like, all right, I did look and see that there's an upgrade option for video cards. I kind of really like the next higher end video card. Can I pay the difference? And they were like, sure. So I paid the difference for video card, got the G5, and with the upgraded video spec. I don't remember which one I went for, but and then probably about a month after I got that G5, it started kernel panicking, and I sold it. I had like G5 PTSD at that point. And then I went back to a G4. So I kind of wish I'd never even like sold my G4 in the first place. So there you go. It's the long, complicated history as to why I think the G5 was a disaster. And anyways, so that was just to get you all ready for the big reveal. And I have... Anyways, there we go. And you're probably thinking, Toto, that doesn't look like an Apple video card. And there's a good reason for that. Because back in the day... okay, I don't want this to... I want to put something down under the door, because I can't open it all the way because of my RGB to HDMI. I don't want to, like, smash it and break the SD card again. Anyways, back in the day, after having owned it for probably a year, I bought on eBay, the place where I buy the things I later regret. Yes, even back in, like, 2004, I was using eBay. I managed to find on eBay the 9700 Pro video card, the actual Apple part. I think someone had probably upgraded and was selling their 9700 Pro. So it was the one that actually plugged in. It had the AGP, Apple Display Connector power on it, 2 ADC connectors. But anyways, those are like near impossible to find these days. So this is a 9700 Pro PC card that I flashed with the Mac BIOS. And I couldn't tell you how to do it now because I did this back in like 2019. And I think the forum post that I followed that was on 68K MLA, well, it got lost in the great 68K MLA data loss event of like 2020 something. So yeah, I couldn't tell you how to do it now because the forum post has long left the internet. I'm glad I did it when I did because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to do it. But anyways, yeah. So this is a PC card. It's been flashed to Mac. Hence the very non-Mac power cable here. But anyways, yep, there's my 9700 Pro. Now Mac edition. I guess the nice thing is it has a DVI connector on it. I have 2 gigs of RAM. This is the 1.25 gigahertz dual processor. I have a SSD in it because I had a spare SSD at the time. And so, yeah, I got an SSD as the hard drive. I think I've got 1 optical drive in it. And yeah, we'll see what happens. I haven't had this thing powered up in a while. I did remove the battery, so I probably should put a battery in here because I think these generally behave better when they have a battery. Yeah, Gupbomb says I had an iBook that got replaced a couple times because it had logic board flex issues. Yeah. So anyways, this is my G4 FireWire-800. Because I'm fairly sure all the cards I have in here are working. At least, let's all say it together in the chat. Working the last time I used it. It worked the last time I had it. Powered up and turned on, yeah. When was that? Probably 2020. I think the last time I had it powered up was just to make sure it survived the move. Stian says, formerly working, yeah. I did at least remove the battery from it. I knew better than to leave the battery in. Because I had seen enough of Steve and Bruce's videos to know that what it looks like when a battery pukes all over your fancy Mac. And David Starbucks says, my mirror drive door has a 9800 Pro in it. I had no idea that was rare. Yes. Yeah. ATI actually made a 9800 Pro Mac Edition card. And those are fairly rare nowadays. And I think when those show up on eBay, they go for like primo dollars. In fact, the 9700 Pro edition cards that Apple sold those go for a lot too when they show up, and I hardly ever see them show up. But anyways, I'm just going to put one of these coin cell battery adapters in as soon as I can spot the polarity mark. All right, I'm going to have to turn this to where I can see it. Oh, that's nice. Oh, please, what? Turn the Mac even more. All right. Oh, there we go. All right. Oh, actually, I just realized. This adapter will not fit this battery holder. Oh, nice. I actually have some batteries somewhere, but I don't know where they are. All right, so I'm going to, while I've got this open, I know you can't see it, I'm going to go ahead and swap. I'm going to go ahead and swap these capture cards. Because if it does power up, I don't see any reason to then shut it down and try swapping them. So this is the one that I bought back in like 2019. It's a version 9 card, and it's probably a PC version of the card, if there was a difference between the Mac and PC version. The one I bought from Gutbomb is a version 6 card, and it was pulled out of a Mac. So it is possible that there is some difference. And that could be why the one that I had doesn't work in a Mac. It's also possible the one that I had just doesn't, the card never worked. Which I'll give it a retroactive regret score of, yeah, I probably regret buying it if it didn't work, but probably what I'll have to do is find the software for a PC and try it in a PC, and if it still doesn't work, then maybe the card was just broken. Because I'm kind of going out on a limb here and say that if it doesn't work in a Mac and it doesn't work in a PC, the card might be broken. But if it works in a PC and not the Mac, then either there's firmware on here somewhere, or maybe the later version of the card changed a component and that broke Mac compatibility. Maybe on the older version of the card, one of these chips could, like, byte swap the data. Because PowerPC is little, big indent, and x86 is little indent. Alright, so alright, let's see here. I'm going to need a keyboard. That is going to be an important requirement. Alright. Make this easy on myself, I'm going to just use the VGA connector so that I don't have to find the... Oh, no, wait a minute. I think this is the DVI connector connected to my scaler, so we will actually use the DVI after all, which you can't see me connect because I can't zoom out any further. Actually, how about we'll do here... I will plug the Mac in. We'll see if it powers up, and if it does power up because it's USB, I'll then plug a keyboard in. So, but because I haven't had this thing plugged in a while, I'm going to go behind my blast shield when I turn the smart outlet on. So, all right. Potential smoke test. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh. All right, let's push the button. Woohoo! All right. That's good. We got video. It chimed. It booted. And now I need a USB keyboard. Theoretically, I have one down here somewhere. down here somewhere. Alright, hopefully, so I find the Macintosh keyboard, or at least the best one. Found my keyboard. It was exactly where I put it. Alright. I'm Ian says, your computer's user is set to Justin D. Morgan. This may cause some applications to behave tridentically. Yes. All right, let's go here to System Preferences, to Displays, to there we go, to something that I can actually see. So here we go. About this Mac, we'll hold down Option to get oh, I thought my keyboard worked. All right, so there we go. PowerMac G4 3,6. Two 1.25 gigahertz processors, a megabyte of L3 cache per CPU. We have 2 gigabytes of memory. And there we go. Graphics displays. There's our ATI Radeon 9700 Pro, 128 megabytes of VRAM. And yeah, there we go. All right. So let's see here. There's Final Cut Pro. Well, I thought I had those drivers installed on here. Maybe I don't. Huh. All right. All right. I may have to. All right. Hold, please. I thought I had those installed. Dave says, never doubted it. My computer powering up. Ian's asking, am I the only one bothered by the fact that ATI used ATY as their identifier? That I have always wondered why they did that. All right, let me go look on my NAS. All right. Um, you know, kind of looks like I might have not installed them. Maybe I reinstalled the OS at some point, and I. All right, well, let's open Final Cut Pro. Oh. All right, at least that was old address. But yay, I get to blur video with the YouTube editing tools later. Unable to locate the following external devices. Well, yeah, that's fine. Yes, if anyone saw that address on the screen, there is no use using it because I am no longer at that address and it will just simply be returned to sender. So if you thought that was an easy way of getting my address, well, yeah, it was not. But yep, I will have to go blur that at some point, so don't be surprised if this live stream gets unlisted as soon as I'm done until I can until YouTube finishes processing and I can blur video, because never underestimate macOS 10 deciding to like betray you. And in fact, I'm thinking the yeah, I'm thinking I don't have the drivers installed on here. Stian says, if I wanted your address, I'd just bait you with a Trident card. David Starbucks says, I was going to send a pallet of broken printers. Darn it. Well, actually, I do have a post office box, and that is on my YouTube About page. Sorry, I cannot accept international shipments at this time for reasons which I will explain offline if necessary, but I don't want to get hit with a surprise bill in the mail. Because theoretically, gifts up to a certain point should go right through, but I don't know if I feel like pressing my luck right now, so I hope you understand. Yes, current events, current eventing. Yes, I did. And Stian's asking, What kind of post office box did you get that can fit a pallet of broken printers? Oh man, I can hear the postmistress now. She would like find my phone number and would probably call me and tell me that you've got to come get this pallet now, which would annoy me to no ends because my car is not big enough. All right, I'm trying to identify the network cable. That may not be plugged into the switch. Oh, wait. Oh, you know, I think I forgot. I don't think macOS is going to necessarily tell me that it's connected. Anyways, let me see if I can connect to my NAS here. SMB protocol. And TrueNAS, and let's see here, it is on my... Oh! Okay, this version of macOS may not be able to connect to a SMB. Oh. It also might be that Oh, actually, I think it might be because I forgot a colon. Yeah. Well, there we go. Ah! Version of SMB on the TrueNAS is too new. I guess I'm just going to have to use a thumb drive or something like that. Yeah, David Starbucks says, always mind your colon, yes. All right, let me see if I've got a thumb drive. I mean, obviously the answer is yes, I have a thumb drive, but where is it? And well, I've got a thumb drive that has the number 2 drawn on it. Let's see if by chance that means it's readable by the Mac. It will take a moment because... Oh, it is readable by the Mac. Yay! It's formatted at something or other. All right. All right, so let me pop it in my PC, copy the zip file over, and then we'll sneakernet it over at a whopping what's USB 1.0 speed? A whopping slow megabits per second. Yeah, go ahead and copy that without its properties. Thank you very much. All right. 1.5 whole megabytes, yeah. Which is why it took it a while to connect. All right. All right, there we go. Yes, look at all these disk images that I'm fairly sure macOS would not like to try to open. 'Cause there we go. That was pretty quick. All right, we'll eject my thumb drive. I will put it back in the drawer from where I found it so that I don't lose it, because it appears to have GoTech images on it. We know how I often lose those. All right, let's see here. That is definitely Windows. That is definitely Windows. That is definitely Windows. All right. Now I'm super confused. Hold, please. I'm opening the document that was in the directory. Oh, 2018. Oh, this is the hold, please. Apparently I found the wrong file on my NAS. All right, hold, please. I know I've got Mac drivers for this card somewhere. That apparently was not it. Think you got bomb? That might help me find the drivers. I thought I already had them downloaded. That's the source of my confusion. Yes. DC30 exact driver 1.63. All right, let me pull out the thumb drive again. I sure thought I had to buy a license for these drivers, but maybe it's the PC drivers that I had to buy a license for. Maybe the oh, it also helps when you plug the thumb drive into the correct computer. All right, let's see here. Downloads. Yeah, maybe it was the PC card that I bought or the PC drivers that I had to pay for. I sure thought I had to pay for Mac drivers. So forget what I said. Maybe there wasn't a license fee for the. All right, but let's see. All right, so these drivers are for Windows, which I guess might come in handy if I do try that one card in Windows. Oh, oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, these are freeware. Okay. All right. Well, these. Maybe I uninstalled these drivers when I couldn't get the card to work. Has it fixed yet? We'll see in a moment. I'm gonna need a NTSC video source. All right. Well, if that works, I might have. Oh, I still have a PlayStation 1 video cable down here. I might just have to pull a non-working or well, it will give us a video signal PlayStation 1 cuz that will probably work. But let's see. All right. Check that. Okay. Well, I don't know where the capture window is. Import. All right, let's see here. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's video playback. NTSC square. All right, let's just go very simple here. Sequence preset. NTSC lossless. Okay. Now, maybe that's not it. Well, I don't know if this is the right window. Let me plug a video source in, and let's see if we see anything on the screen. So I want to go grab the correct end of the cable, and let me grab a partially functioning PlayStation 1. By partially functioning, I mean there will be no sound, folks. Ask me how I know not to. I can find my box of misfit PlayStation 1s, that is. Hmm. Alright, where did I put it? Hold, please. Alright. So I got a PlayStation 1. It's a random one. So let's see here. Let me plug the. I don't know which side's input and which side's output. Alright, I believe the one. Alright. Power. Oh, oh, scuzzy. Probably still is a blue scuzzy. All right. All right, and let's see. I think we. Oh. Oh, I might have grabbed the. Do I have the right power cord? Oh. No, that was probably not the correct power cord. All right. Right, that one. That's better. All right, we should theoretically have video somewhere. I do a capture now. I do not see anything. That is definitely video in. Did that actually capture anything? That's the question. I would say no. All right. Maybe that wasn't the right thing to do. Nope. New. I mean, maybe. I would presume I should see a preview. I mean, I could have. Yeah, where's the yeah, you're right. Where's the composite versus S video selector? Alright, let's see here. Is it under user preferences? No, doesn't look great. Is it under audio video settings? Maybe I've missed it. So sequence presets. Oh, thank you, Jack68K. Macintosh content. All right. Thank you. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, no, never mind. You know, maybe let's just set best quality. Best quality. All right. All right. Compression at 100% quality. Oh, that looks fine. Capture presets. Device control presets. AV devices. That's output. Capture. Check capture presets there too. Jack's asking these are the correct settings for the Kinectix QuickCam, right? Oh, don't tell me I gotta edit the preset. Oh, maybe you do. All right. Composite input. So NTSC square best quality. All right. It works! We can capture a famous logo animation. Dropped frames were detected. Oh, that was annoying. Apparently, all right, so I'm going to have to reset it and then click capture. Apparently, it doesn't like resetting devices. Gutbomb says you might want to turn off playthrough. Actually, I think I don't know why I would want to turn off playthrough. Because I think if I turn off playthrough, then I might not be able to see the... Oh, Gutbomb says that might be why it's dropping frames. Okay, I guess I'll turn that off. I was afraid that if I turned that off, then I wouldn't be able to see the screen. All right. Well, that is kind of annoying. If you turn off playthrough, then you cannot see what you're capturing. Final Cut Pro HD was unable to read the movie file just captured. Preview disabled. No, I think the problem is that it doesn't like it when I reset the PlayStation 1. That's where the dropped frames are. The dropped frames is where it completely lost the video, so I guess you can only capture things that you... Yeah. Capcom says, oh, just turn off high quality playthrough. Yeah, I guess we could do that. This is quite annoying, changing these settings. Alright. But, the card works. Hi, Green Conscious 210, welcome. Oh, playthrough should be harmless. That should be just letting the video go to the card's output. The live preview is called something else. Oh, okay. Capcom says, welcome to analog video capture. Yes, we got it working. Thomas Armstrong says, I dropped frames walking to the kitchen. Hi, Thomas. Anyways, we got this Miro card to work. And by got it to work, well, it was just working. Now, as for this old card, well, I mean, I don't have any reason to believe that it's necessarily bad, but I have a feeling it's a PC-only card, and that might be the problem that I had trying to use it in this Mac. Because these were fairly decent capture cards back in the day. In fact, I want to say that if you bought one of these back then, these were like somewhere between $300 and $500. Because these have decent capture chips on them. So yeah, thanks Gutbomb for selling me that Miro card. It's apparently exactly what I needed to get capture working on my G4. Oh, Green Conscious 210 says, could be whining about the SSD if it doesn't respond the way it wants. Yeah. Oh, your hard drive's working too fast. Dropped frames. Yeah, I mean, that is possible. Because I don't think Macs were including SSDs at this point. Alright, we don't need to save our project. Alright. So that is really cool. Hard Hacker says it was captivating. Yes, now... And actually, this is a pretty cool... We'll take a pretty cool look at... So I think I did use a restore disk to restore the software on this. And then I installed some Final Cut Pro and compressor and DVD Studio and Motion. This is bringing back really cool oh, and Soundtrack. I installed Soundtrack. That doesn't come with these Macs. But I remember some of these programs that are pre-installed. So Art Director's Toolkit. was bundled with the Mac. Kind of a interesting tool. So there we go. In fact, actually, it would let you. So there we go. Sampler tool. I think you can. Oh. Well, I thought the sampler tool let you click on anything. Oh. I don't think I used this program much back in the day because I didn't do print. Oh, look, I have Pantone colors. This would be like $1 bazillion nowadays. But I have the Pantone colors. David Starbucks says, yeah, this was back in the day when 80 gigabyte hard drives were large. And actually, I think, I want to say that this Mac shipped with a, large hard drive. I'm having trouble reading the label. I'm also having trouble reading the chat because the Mac is in the way. All right, let me use my phone's camera as a magnifying lens. All right, let's take a picture of the label. All right. So this Mac shipped with a 120 gigabyte hard drive. And a super drive. I think this one shipped with GeForce 4 Ti graphics. But I think when I got it, it only had like the Radeon 9000. So I think someone took the better card out. But yeah, this shipped with 256 megs RAM. I've got 2 gigabytes installed. 120 gigabyte hard drive. I think I've got a 250 gigabyte SSD. I am pretty sure I do have a super drive in it. And the 9700 Pro graphics. So it is very similar to... Yeah. Because I'm fairly sure I installed a larger hard drive in mine at some point. Jack says, I have the dual 1.42 gigahertz, which replaced my dual 450. Yeah, this one's the dual 1.25. I actually had a dual 1.42 at one point. I think it was after the G5 debacle. But quite honestly, it was a little faster, but I don't remember exactly when I had it. I remember having it at some point. Oh, you missed my story about the G5. Yeah, I used to own a G5. I'd bought it, you'll have to rewatch the beginning of the live stream. I told the story, but anyways, yeah. I kind of wish I'd never sold my G4 to buy the G5. That's pretty much what it boils down to. Oh, yeah. Now, I remember using this program all the time. And this was bundled with my PowerMac G4. It's the Apple Bundle Customers version. Graphic converter. It's the full version, so... In fact, they still make this. Yeah, Sadmax says, yeah, G5 turned out to be a lemon-flavored apple. David Starbucks says the G5 circle of life. Yeah, circled right back to a G4. Jack says, I first purchased graphic converter at 3.0. Yeah, this one's 4.5, and I think it can still do a lot. But yeah, I remember that. I used that one all the time. It had a came with fax software, which is hardly useful now. I do not know what graphic accelerator is. Oh, that must be the tool I used to flash the video card, maybe? I have no idea. Then OmniGraffle and OmniOutliner were also bundled apps. So OmniGraffle's flowcharting software. OmniOutliner, I think, is outlining software. QuickBooks New User Edition was bundled. Office X was... Oh, I think it was a demo version of Office 10 was included, but I think that's only a demo. And then, of course, graphic calculator. Woohoo! Look at all those graphics go. Yeah, MSN Messenger, yeah. Jack says, read me, I meant it. Yeah. But yeah, this is my G4 FireWire-800. It's a lot like the one I used to have. And now I can capture video on it, which is really cool. I mean, I don't know exactly what I'll... Oh, you know, I just remembered. And I was going to bring it downstairs. I have an old camcorder that still works. And it's got analog outputs on it. I might have to use this to capture video from it. I don't know, maybe I might, I was actually thinking of... So, speaking of VCF East, I was thinking of bringing some of my Sony Mavicas with me. You know, the floppy disk cameras? Maybe I'll bring my old camcorder, too. Because I actually did buy a battery for it, so it is actually usable. Yeah, you can still get the battery for it on Amazon, which is pretty cool. So maybe to VCF East, I might have that camcorder with me, because I've got a tape or two for it, and a Mavica or two, and maybe I'll just take some old school low-res photos and videos and kind of include those with the... because with stuff I record with my phone. David Starbucks says, I read the equation for that demo and I understood it. That kind of scares me a little bit. A bit, lol. Yeah. So, yeah, it's my dual 1.25 gigahertz FireWire-800 with my 9700 Pro. That was a PC card that I flashed before the forum page on 68K MLA went away. So I couldn't tell you how to do it now because the instructions are lost. But I seemingly remember I got that card and it had a large enough BIOS chip on it to begin with. So I didn't even have to solder on a new BIOS chip. But I do remember that I had to get the Mac ROM, and I don't remember where I got it. And then I had to... And I think that's probably the part that's really... The two parts that are kind of... It's kind of bad that the instructions are gone is... I think the instructions had a list of chips that are compatible. in case your video card only has a 64K EEPROM on it, because you need a 128K one for the Mac ROM. And it also told you the instructions of exactly how to flash it. I seemingly remember to flash the card, I had to put it in, I think I put it in a PC with a, that had a second video card in it. That was not an ATI card, so I didn't accidentally flash it. Thank you, Dave. But anyways, yeah, and I think I had to set that PC to make the second video card the primary one. So I probably had a PCI video card and I set PCI video primary so that it would, so that the ATI card was not driving the video output. I think I did use a PC to flash it. Because I think the instructions told you how to get the PC ATI flasher for PC to like the Mac ROM, because I think, or if that was a problem, I don't remember it being a huge problem. Because I seemingly remember putting it in a PC, although maybe I did flash it on the Mac. But I don't remember having a PCI Mac video card at the time. But anyways, yeah, I did that probably back in 2019. So I don't remember how I did it, but yeah, it's still going strong. I might have to set this up at some point because, you know, this is kind of a fun machine. And in fact, this computer... Okay, I have to say, if you wanted to know what got me into retro computing, it was probably the Yamaha Music computer. Kind of got me into retro computing, but I think getting this Mac probably really sealed it that, hey, you know, you can get some of the PCs from your younger days, and being that I bought it in 2019, I don't think I paid a lot for it, but I don't remember what I paid for it, but I don't remember paying a super lot for it. Dave says you should show it off Sunday. Yeah. In fact, I probably will just leave it on the bench. I think I will show it off Sunday. Yeah, I do apologize. I have a conflict every other Sunday, but my conflict schedule got all wonky. So I had a couple weeks where I was not every other Sunday. It was 2 Sundays in a row, but the schedule got mixed up. Anyways, I should be available Sunday. So I will try to make it for Dave's stream. I should be available Sunday. I think we got the schedule back on track. But with that, though, I think this is where I'm going to end the stream, because I starting to get tired. We got this working, and we don't have time to I don't have time to try to get the other capture card running. I forgot to download the drivers. But since this Miro card works great in this PowerMac, I'm inclined to put the other capture card in one of my other PowerMacs. So maybe we might look at it on Dave's stream. Both, I might try to, or maybe on Dave's stream, I'll show off this Mac, but then maybe we might try to get this working in a PC to see if the card actually works. That might be another thing to do. So yeah, Dave says he enjoyed the stream. All right, well, I think with that, I'm going to draw the stream to a close. I am somewhat perplexed why my video... Oh, that's why my video looks differently. I think my webcam sees this old Mac keyboard and is... Oh yeah, it was messing with the exposure. Oh, yep, that's what it was. I was like, was my webcam failing? No, it's just this keyboard setting there. All right, so anyways, glad we got the stream off tonight. Yeah, I was having internet trouble Tuesday night. I'm not sure exactly what it was. As I said at the beginning of the stream, I did restart my cable modem and my router before tonight's stream, so looks like. So, I don't know. Comcast might have been having trouble Tuesday. I did look on Tuesday to see if there were any other internet service providers in this area, and the short answer is not really. The longer answer is, how does up to 10 megabits upload on DSL sound? And I was like, nope, I'm not even going to call Brightspeed. I was running into buffering a few times, says Hardware Hacker. Yeah, I don't show any dropped frames, but that's not to say that Comcast still wasn't causing trouble that I didn't see. So, anyways, next week, probably going to. I've got a stack of LC 475 boards, so we're probably going to look at those because I would like to maybe get those going. Get the old caps off, new caps on, and maybe get my LC 475 that was a dealer upgrade, get that Mac back up and running. So we'll probably look at the LC 475s next week. I think next week will be a Tuesday. Actually, next week might be a Monday, Thursday week, because I've got a coworker that's retiring Wednesday, and they were asking folks if we'd bring homemade desserts in for the retirement celebration. So I might actually need to live stream Monday, Thursday, so I can maybe bake something. Sorry, my kitchen's not really set up for live streaming, but if I do bake something, I'll at least take pictures and share the recipe. Step one will be for me to find the recipe, because I've got something in mind. But it may be a Monday, Thursday stream next week so that Tuesday I can bake the dessert to bring into work Wednesday. But I will double check that I have my calendar correct. If I have the date wrong for the day of the celebration, then it'll be a Tuesday, Thursday week. But I think the celebration's Wednesday, so I think it may be a Monday, Thursday week so I can bake something. Jack says, be sure to bake enough for everyone in the chat. But yeah, I don't think I'll be able to make a video of it, but I'll at least share the recipe and take some photos, and maybe that it might inspire some of you to bake it, because it's a fairly easy recipe. It's like a dump cake. And you basically get a cake mix and like pie filling or something like that, but I'll have to look up the recipe. But yeah, it's a fairly simple recipe, but it's really nice. I think the last time I made it, I think I used a chocolate cake mix with a complimentary fruit filling, and it turned out really nice. And the really cool thing is, actually, the last time I made it, I actually made it gluten-free, so I got a gluten-free cake mix, because someone that was going to be eating it can't have gluten, and that actually turned out really well, too. That was really nice, and she was able to enjoy it, because I purposely made it gluten-free. So, yeah, it's that easy of a recipe, and it even works with gluten-free cake mix. So, yeah, I'll hopefully I do find the recipe so I can share it with you all, because it's actually fairly simple. I don't remember there being that. The total number of ingredients is pretty small. It's really flexible, because it's cake mix and the filling, and you might have to add butter or something like that, or an egg or something like that. But anyways, hopefully I find it so I can share it. And yeah, because I'm realized, I should probably bake something, bring it in, because it'll be a nice celebration. Because it was like, so anyways, once I'll schedule live stream, so if it's Monday, Thursday, then you know that, yep, Tuesday is the night I need to bake dessert. So anyways, with that, all right, first of all, I keep wanting to go for the G4 mouse, but I should probably go ahead and shut my G4 down, because I don't really want to leave it running Although, quite honestly, of old computers, I'd probably be more likely to trust my G4 than some of my other vintage computers to, like, if I were to accidentally let it run for several days. I mean, yeah, it could betray me, but it's like, yeah, this one I'm a little more trusting of, probably because I had one for so long back in the day. But anyways, yeah, with that, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Thanks for hanging out with me while we looked at video capture on a G4 for Macintosh. Thank you, Jack, for the coffee. Hi, RetroTech Chris. Yeah, RetroTech Chris says, I powered up my Dual Pinion Pro, walked out of the room, came back, and the PSU was dead. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I would kind of slightly be afraid this PowerMac might do that to me, too. Yeah, I always unplug my vintage PCs when done with them. Yeah, probably not a bad idea, so I have shut it down. I will, and in fact, I will, while I'm thinking of it now, I will turn the smart outlet off. So effectively, I have unplugged it now. And, yeah. So with that, I hope you all have a... Oh, Chris says, that's what I get for upgrading the CPUs to higher power variants. So, yeah. All right, yeah, I'm glad you all hung out tonight. We looked at video capture for Macintosh. Next week, we'll look at LC475s, I think. And, yeah, with that, I think this is a good place to end the stream. So, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Oh, hold on, let me make sure. Yep, there we go. Yep, I hope to see you all Sunday on Dave's stream. Watch my schedule. It'll either be Monday or Tuesday and Thursday, depending on if I need to bake Tuesday or not, so that I can take dessert in for the celebration. With that, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Take care, and God bless. Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. Don't forget to smash that like button. And if you've liked what you've seen, subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next video or live stream. And as always, thank you for all your support. I hope to see you next time. And until then, take care.